Hello, welcome back to 3/4 Guard on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
I was just eating a sandwich, that's why I was doing that with my mouth.
He's
Hello!
getting the semen out of his teeth.
Wow.
Anyway.
Welcome. Another edition, noon on a Sunday, with your boys, 3/4 Guard Podcast. I am Eric. This is the most knowledgeable and technical Shane. I feel like you need a different name.
What would my name be?
Well, your real name, Eamon. I'm gonna go back to calling you Eamon. Goodness, excuse me. We're very unprofessional here at the 3/4 Guard Podcast. If you haven't noticed,
For yourself, bro.
but hey, thank you for joining us. Thank you for seeing you guys again. Thank you for seeing good thing. Blah blah. Nice to see you all here again, even though we can't really see you. But
You can see us.
how's everyone doing?
It's like a one-way mirror. It's kind of creepy.
And oh man, I guess we should get right into it.
we had an
Fuck
event
man,
yesterday.
crazy 24 hours yesterday. UFC's 234 in Melbourne, Australia. The former main event, Robert Whittaker versus Kevin Gastelum, was supposed to happen for the middleweight title, but man, middle of the night, right before, like, I think a couple of hours before the fight happened. What was it, like Saturday night over there, because they were having it like Sunday morning, Saturday night, or like Sunday night, somewhere in the middle of the night.
I was thinking about that too. I was like,
Man, there's a time difference there.
that's really unfortunate for for, like, you know, all the events that had transpired. For
Yeah.
people to go to this event at super early in the morning and expect
And then they wake up at 6. They're like, awesome, Whittaker versus Kevin
Yeah.
Gastelum. They take a look at their phone like, wait, what?
I spent how many hundreds of dollars for
Fuck. Well, here's also another thing. I mean, they did get to see Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
And I feel like Anderson Silva is just one of those people that if you have a card with a lot of no-names, you can put Anderson Silva in the card and it's still well worth it. Regardless of anything, you're still seeing the Spider, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it was unfortunate for the champion, Robert Whittaker. Was talking about abdominal pains in the middle of the night, and they took him over. The UFC doctors took a look at him. They brought him to the emergency room. He had a hernia in his abdomen and also a twisted and collapsed bowel. What in the fuck? And apparently, what were you were telling me earlier that if he had taken a body shot, it could have been fatal.
Yeah, he could have died in there.
He could have literally taken like a kick to the fucking stomach or like a punch to the liver or something like that, any particular part of the abdomen, and he probably would have collapsed and died. That
would have been the
fucking
first
insane.
fatality in UFC history.
That would have been
in the
nuts.
octagon.
That would have been so crazy. But yeah, man, fucking sucks too for Whittaker. It was in his home country, defending the belt after he had 2 incredibly, like, you know, stellar performances against Joe Romero, who was like a fucking world beater. You alright over there?
Yeah.
It's essentially like a world beater, and Whittaker bested him twice in a row. Was going to defend his belt now against a new challenger in Kevin Gastelum. And yeah, man, it really fucking sucks. Like, the main event of the card in his hometown, and he just couldn't make it because of medical conditions. And here's another crazy thing. UFC 232, Jones and Gustafsson, that was moved from Las Vegas to LA in 6 days' notice. UFC 233 canceled. Now UFC 234 loses its main event the night before because the champion grew ill and had to go into emergency surgery, mind you. Had to go into emergency surgery. Not a good 3 pay-per-views back to back for the UFC. Really makes you want to knock on wood. Makes you hope that 235 card holds together.
2019 is not looking good so far.
Well, to be fair, their ESPN cards have been really good. They've been holding up, and they've been delivering on the ESPN cards. So that's a plus.
That's not where their money's at.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, it does get more eyes on the screens though, because a lot more people watch ESPN, and they're really going in. I really appreciate what ESPN has been doing lately and how much they've been putting into the UFC with their advertisements for them, with like the little trailers they do for said ESPN cards. They're making a real big deal out of Cain Velasquez versus Francis Ngannou. And that's next week, by the way, for any of you.
Well, let's hope that John Jones doesn't pop before 235.
There you go. It's weird because now when you got 235 coming up, you got John Jones, who's been up and down the past year with all this crap going on, with all like his problems outside of the octagon. You got Woodley, who's probably next to Aldo has been one of those champions that just constantly gets injured. And it's just, I don't know, it's just those two people on the same card, especially after 3 pay-per-views of bad luck for the organization, really makes you want.
What's gonna happen?
A little bit, I don't know, but yeah, hopefully a speedy recovery to Robert Whittaker. Let's just get into everything for like the main event card. I mean, for the former main event of the card. After Whittaker was admitted to the hospital, he went into emergency surgery. They still don't have a timetable on when he's gonna get better. But then Kevin Gastelum, in all of his wrestling heel glory. Oh, goodness, sorry. I just had a sandwich and I'm eating my coffee now, so it's just causing a lot of burpage. There you go. Kevin Gastelum started sporting Henry Cejudo's belt. Henry Cejudo happened to be in attendance for the Australia card. He started sporting around his title and started calling himself the champ.
Self-proclaimed the champ, yeah.
I don't know.
I got confused for a little bit. I thought, did they give him a belt? Is he the interim champ?
I thought they gave him an interim champ, and I thought they gave him a belt, and I thought they caught him like right outside of whatever office that they gave him the belt in. I literally thought that was happening. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I don't know. This is going a little too far. Well, first of all, I feel like I was in bad taste, especially because, you know, this was a health issue Robert Whittaker had the night before a fight, something he could have died from apparently. And something that wasn't his fault because of like the weight cut, because of all that stuff. It was just like a fucking freak thing that happened. I found it in very bad taste, 1. And 2, I like I said, I really don't know what he was going for. Was he just trying to like keep the fight hyped, or like trying to keep it so like, no, I got to keep people's attention on me? Essentially almost going for like a Kobe Covington, if you will. But I don't know, it just didn't really suit. And like the whole time I was just like, what is he doing? I think even Conor McGregor let out a tweet. Conor McGregor, of all the people, like the people who troll and people who say, nope, I'm the champ if Jose Aldo didn't show up. Remember when he did that whole thing? Jose Aldo got injured like a month before their fight. He's like, I'm the real champ now. He didn't show up, blah, blah, this and that. Even he found it in bad taste for Kelvin Gastelum to not even hold a belt that wasn't his, but a belt that like he borrowed it essentially.
So apparently he said this is my belt. I earned this. I showed up, traveled thousands and thousands of miles from home, made the weight. In my world, the wrestling world, if the guy shows up and makes the weight, for some reason cancels the bout, the guy forfeits the match. I win. I am the champion.
Yeah, well, you...
What?
No, not really. I mean,
and then apparently Dana White said that he called what the Gastelum did with the belt, he called it cute.
Yeah, well, it was, I mean... And like, if it wasn't for the whole like Whittaker situation where he literally went into the emergency surgery that day for something that could have been fatal, it would have been a little bit okay. Like, I see what he's doing; he's hyping up the fight. But because of that, I found it kind of in bad taste. And like at the same time, you know, Dana, I don't think he maybe. I mean, he knows it's the fight game, and he knows that you got to keep eyes on you and stuff like that. So, I mean. I know he was looking for some sort of attention afterwards, but maybe it wasn't the best time. Maybe if he showed up a week later.
It was a very cringy display.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've said it before. Depending on the person's personality, I prefer my pro wrestling WWE gimmicks away from like my UFC stuff. But if the person has the charisma, if the person just has the personality to fit that stuff, it's cool. It's fine. Whatever. It's part of your personality. Go ahead and do it. But it's almost like I don't feel like that's something that Kelvin would have like originally done. Like, I don't know, it just feels like he like almost, like I said, almost did it to keep some attention on him, because I mean, clearly whoever won the new main event of the night, which was formerly the co-main event, Adesanya versus Silva, would have been the number 1 contender. I feel like he did that to keep the attention on him as the number 1 contender, so to speak, because the match never happened. And I wouldn't put it past the UFC to totally overlook him and make it so Whittaker fights Adesanya now, because Adesanya beat, you know, Silva by decision.
Well, Dana White said that it looks like it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, really?
According to the doctors, so they said how long. They'll see how he recovers.
Hopefully the thing is only 4 to 6 weeks though.
Yeah.
He's not 100%
Well,
sure.
said according to the doctors.
We'll see how it looks though, because they
yeah.
got to look at him after like a week and see how his body is healing and stuff like that. We probably won't really know anything for sure until like the next week.
So
Hopefully
ideally,
he's
they're
fine.
they're looking at a rematch. That's what they want to do.
That'd be good.
But yeah, I guess
in that I will agree that Kelvin he shouldn't lose the number one contender spot, because he's looked great.
But it definitely doesn't make him the champion.
Yeah, definitely doesn't make you the champion. I mean, even in the fake pro wrestling world, when you're disqualified or when you get counted out or something like that, you don't win the title from said champion.
You got to beat the guy.
You got to beat the guy. You got to beat the man to be the man, and he didn't beat the man. Like, if anything, the guy sure lost, and like maybe I don't want to say beat himself, but it wasn't even a loss because it was just a medical thing. It just I don't know.
Out of his hands.
The whole thing is just kind of like, what do you give Cejudo his belt back?
Yeah.
He's the only one with that belt.
Like, this is my belt. No, that's
Cejudo's belt. That's the first one. He's the only. And damn, Cejudo's still the only guy to have that new belt. Nobody has been crowned new champion yet. And there's been two pay-per-views. The one that's been canceled, and then the other one that has been.
It'd be really funny if
crazy.
that for like the flyweights, maybe the belt was smaller than like the normal size, and then you see like Kelvin with like this like baby belt on his
I kind of.
That would have been hilarious.
I kind of thought that would have been the case, to be honest with you. Just the way that the belt.
No,
looked.
I think the
looks
women's
more...
divisions are a little smaller.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I think the women's division is just a tad smaller. Not even too much that you can tell, but they are like a little bit smaller. I think they're more studded out too. I think the women's belts look like, I don't know, they have like different stones in them, or like
got some rhinestones in them.
Yeah, they have like more of a shine to them. Funny enough, a little less gold and a little more
pink.
like. See more blue actually, like a kind of like a baby blue. But yeah, I noticed that.
Got some Hello Kitty on it. Some unicorns.
Damn. But yeah, man, it sucks for Robert Whittaker, like I said, especially because it's in his hometown. I mean, you never want that to happen the night before a fight, especially training so hard. And I really wanted to see how he improved after the Romero fight. When you fight somebody like Yoel Romero, you're only going to get better. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of could have seen it. Not to say that Gastelum is a slouch, and not to say that he only has one punch power and he only has his wrestling. Definitely not. I think he has great boxing. But Whittaker has more tools in the stand-up. Whittaker has a lot of momentum coming off of the Yoel Romero win. And I just had this feeling that we would have seen something very similar to Holloway Ortega. Where, Kelvin was definitely game, but you could see that Whittaker was just a little bit further. Just a little bit. Well, I mean, Holloway looked eons ahead of Ortega, unfortunately for Ortega.
Yeah, I had Whittaker winning that.
Yeah, it was just everything was kind of pointing to him to win. It was in his home. He had the home field advantage, all that momentum. His striking is better. His takedown defense has gotten crazy. Like, even when Yoel Romero took him down in their fights, he got up quickly or was able to get away from him. Absolutely. I haven't seen takedown defense like that since, well, actually, let me not shit on Joanna Jędrzejczyk's takedown defense is great, but I mean, like Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jose Aldo, and even like Anderson Silva fought some wrestlers who were able to take him down, but Jose Aldo, Joanna, and like Whittaker now, in terms of stand-up, are like probably the marquee people to look at if you want to handle that takedown defense. And yeah, it would have been awesome to see, but fortunately maybe we're gonna have to wait another 2 months or 3 months to see how that goes. But yeah, shouts out to Robert Whittaker. Kevin Gastelum, you're not the champ, you're put that belt down. And yeah, hopefully we get to see them fight very soon. Middleweight division's always been weird. It's been very, very weird lately, ever since Silva ever since Weidman lost the belt. Just been very up and down and all over the place. Remember, Luke Rockhold won, lost it to Bisping. Bisping went against Hendo and GSP, lost it to GSP. GSP vacates. Then who fought after that?
What's crazy to me is
Whittaker and Romero.
Whittaker's only actually has he actually? No, he's never defended the belt technically.
Whittaker,
because his only title defense would have been against Romero, but Romero missed weight, so it wasn't even for the title.
That's true.
So
that's really weird.
He's never defended the belt.
What an odd situation.
But it's crazy because it feels like he's been champ for longer than he has, just because he's fought all the top guys
for a year now.
Much,
He's been champion since even more. How many times did he fight Romero last year? Did he fight Romero twice, or did he fight? I feel like he fought Romero in 2017.
Well, he fought him for the interim belt, right?
No, for the vacant, because that's after GSP vacated the belt. Yeah.
And then he It's like last year he fought only once, and it was the year before that he won.
Okay.
He beat Souza and then he beat Romero.
Yes, all right. So he fought Romero the first time in July of 2017, and then went against him the second time in April.
June.
But yeah, you're right. The second time, didn't he not make weight both times, Romero? I feel like he didn't make weight both times.
No, he missed weight in the Rockhold fight.
This
I
is
think
true.
that was for a number one contender.
Yes,
or something.
that is right. That is correct. Yes, but
Or was that for an interim? I think that was for an interim, and then
he didn't make weight.
Couldn't win
yes,
because
exactly.
he
Because he
didn't
couldn't
make
make
weight.
weight. Yes.
So he didn't actually become interim champ, but he did fight for the belt.
You are correct, sir. That's so
That's
yeah.
so fucking weird.
So fucking weird. The middleweight division is, and just when you think, remember yesterday, Dana White was like, "This is gonna be a clear cut like Silva versus Adesanya is number one contender. Kelvin versus Whitaker is obviously the champ." So it was like a clear cut mini tournament going on last night. You know, good old fashioned mini tournament that they used to have. And then this happened, and it totally just turns everything once again topsy-turvy. Because it's like, now you got to wait for Whitaker and Gastelum again. And now you don't know if Adesanya's going to wait out, or if they're going to make him fight someone else, or whatever the hell is going to happen. But it's so, man, this sport is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
MMA is just so crazy, dude. Like, what do you do? Yeah, Gastelum.
I don't know. We gotta wait, but I guess.
Click on that photo, like MMA Junkie right there. Shouts out to MMA Junkie for all your news. You guys are great. Yeah, that one. That photo. He's like smiling into the
crack at my title. Jesus Christ, you're such a clown, dude.
A little bit. He was smiling but looking away from the camera.
He have pieces of paper on his? Did he cut himself shaving or something?
Oh, he had a staph infection.
Oh, is that from the staph?
He got a well, maybe he cut himself shaving, but he has a staph infection, bro. He got a staph infection before the fight. So even if Whitaker would have came in, there still would have been like, he was still apparently sick.
Yeah, he shouldn't have even been fighting. Like,
yeah, remember when Kevin Lee? It would have been the whole.
tweets?
It would have been the whole Kevin Lee versus Ferguson. Remember when they fought and Kevin Lee had that staph infection in his
that
chest?
shit is gross, dude.
Yeah, dude. And he
That's
had the
contagious.
same thing. So regardless, maybe the fight could have been called off anyway. Imagine if Gastelum would have came in and the UFC doctors would have been like, "What's all this? Staph. We can't let you fight in there. That shit is contagious." Bam, the fight would have been. It's like that. It's weird, dude. It's like that fight was doomed from the beginning or something like that. So weird. So funny. It's just.
Where is it?
Man, sport is crazy, dude. What's up?
Today? The 10th.
Oh, the one yesterday?
Where did he?
Right there. Yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
That thing right
Conor
there.
McGregor fucking
Yeah.
tweeted.
Why
is that worm holding the 185 belt? There are worms crawling on his skin. It was absolutely ludicrous to even consider allowing him to compete,
Yeah.
let alone now walk around the arena shaking our fans' hands. Someone sort this instant and sterilize that belt immediately.
Oh, what a jerk. It's not my favorite fighter, but it's always great to hear what he has to say because it's just always funny. I mean, it's true. I mean, imagine if he would have.
Gross, dude.
Imagine if he would have gone seen the doctors and it would have been like, "You can't fight anyway." Card would have been canceled regardless. It's just like, what the hell? Unless after that they would have moved up either Silva or Adesanya to fight against Whitaker.
Dude, I want to know what the fuck that is on his face.
I think it's just razors. I think he
thought
just.
that's
cut
what it
himself.
was, but for one, no one. I don't think anyone would actually do that. They wouldn't leave that on there, especially when they're doing interviews and shit.
Maybe he doesn't
And
care.
Two, like it doesn't even really look like it when you look close up. It doesn't look like. It
There's
looks
a
like dry
meme-
skin or something.
So there's a meme actually that's
I think
been
that's
going
like,
around.
I think those are like sores.
Yeah. Ugh. That is a sore.
I feel like that's just like his skin's cracked right there.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Dude. Let's put some lotion on that bitch.
Yeah, man. Come on
I
now.
don't know.
Shift that thing down. Goodness. There's a meme actually going around that showed him and like Robert Whitaker at the press conference, I think on Thursday, where they show Whitaker's face, Gastelum's like the back of his head. He's got this big ass mole coming out of the back of his head, and a meme was created where they essentially put Dana White's head on it. It's very, very funny. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like the fight wouldn't have happened anyway because of whatever the hell he had in his fucking face. That was just odd. I don't know, man. But you know,
meanwhile, Calvin Gastelum. I wish Robert Whitaker a speedy recovery, champ. Get well soon. Fuck you. You know, call him champ and then hold on to the belt and say you're.
And that's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe he did the
I
whole.
think it wasn't
champ
his
thing.
idea.
Maybe.
I think somebody was saying that it
I
might have
wouldn't.
been.
I wouldn't put it past him.
You know that guy Ali Abdelaziz? I think that's him and Cejudo's manager. And I think they were saying that it was his idea or something.
Well, he's got people trying to kill him right now, so he shouldn't even be going out there managing these fighters if he's worried about people poisoning his food and stuff like that. Ali also happens to be
really a thing?
yeah, he said it was a thing. He manages, I think, four of like the 6 or 7 new champs that they crowned at PFL. Remember PFL was doing that $1 million tournament for each like new belt. He manages, like, I think 4 of those people that won. So that's already like, let's say he gets what, 20%. That's already $1 million for him just from fighters outside of the UFC. Khabib, and then who else does he? There was somebody else that he also, that's also a champion that he Oh, Kamaru Usman. He also manages Kamaru Usman, and Kamaru Usman's going for the title shot. He's racking in that fucking dough, man. But
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I released a fucking post earlier this week though, where he was talking about Tony Ferguson. He was saying that Tony Ferguson was slow, boring, and old. Come on, Jesus! Like, I get you're trying to sell your fighter, but there's selling the fight, and there's like making your fighter look great, and then
like,
there's
if anything, it
talking
should
nonsense like what's his name? The fucking Ronda Rousey's boxing coach?
Edmund.
Edmund, yeah. Then there's Edmund status. Like, he's reaching Edmund status right now. It's talking all that shit, and I don't think
he should be trying to build up the fight. I don't know if he's talking
you
shit
go.
about Ferguson. He's trying to discredit it almost.
I mean, if anything, he shits on McGregor, but he's like, but that's the rematch we need to make. He's like, what? He totally annihilated
it's all
McGregor. He
about
did
money.
this.
It's all about money.
There you go. You got to know how to fucking be a good
He's a
manager,
manager.
and how to promote
He's a
your
fucking
people.
manager.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know that was the best thing to do. Oh, that's the fight I
Oh
want to see.
shit! They were sitting next to each other.
That's the fight I want to see. Yeah, man. We're just getting a quick gif of Henry
That's
Cejudo
fine.
next to Joseph
I didn't even see
Benavidez.
that.
Why not, man? I want to see that fight. I mean, I want to see him fight at I definitely want to see him fight at 135.
But it's so funny because he doesn't have his belt because fucking Gaslam has.
Because I fucking gassle him. Because the Gaslam's like, hey man, can I borrow your belt?
Number-
Cejudo being the
number
nice
2,
guy is like, yeah,
Joseph
sure.
Benavidez.
Yeah, man.
Oh shit.
He looks like
He did beat him.
he looks like he's in a gang in New York in the 90s. Joseph Benavidez.
He was a cowboy to the shoey. That was funny.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, Kevin Gastelum doing his thing, I guess, trolling or being silly, if you will. Funny that he said, I wish...
Robert Whittaker be stripped of his middleweight belt? Jeez.
No. Stop that shit. He
Well,
got
the only thing is,
sick.
I think that...
Give him a year.
He
Fuck.
hasn't defended since June, because I think he was injured, right? Wasn't Whittaker? I think
He
Whittaker
was.
injured.
July.
It was
April.
June. He fought in June.
April.
No, June.
April.
I just saw it. We were looking at it.
That was July. That was the first fight. July
No,
2017.
yeah, but it was June.
April.
It said June
How
2000.
much money do you want to put on it, buddy?
I'll put $1 million fucking on it.
Put $1 million on it.
All right,
Now
$1
hold it.
million.
I don't owe you
There you
more money anymore. I don't owe you money ever again. This will be the second time.
Oh, June. Look at
Damn it! Could have sworn it was April.
that. No.
When did I go to Florida?
Because you saying April, and I was like, why is he saying April?
Because I could have sworn it was April. I went to Florida with my family in April, and I saw the fight at like a random Cuban steakhouse. So that's why I was like, wait a minute, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, regardless of that,
So you owe me $1 million.
fuck.
Okay.
On top of all the money I already owe you, damn it.
All
right,
Yeah, it's
well.
crazy that he went into surgery like instantly. Like they were like, we have to do surgery
Emergency
now.
surgery, because it was a hernia and his bowels were like collapsed, a twisted, collapsed bowel. So there were 3 things wrong with him.
His intestines were fucking.
That sucks. Speedy recovery to the champion, the middleweight champion, Robert
Yeah.
Whittaker. Hopefully he gets back before July so he can defend his belt.
They might. If he doesn't recover very soon, they're probably gonna do Gastelum Adesanya for an interim belt.
I mean, yeah, I can see them doing that. It is a
just
UFC.
because I guess it is quick, but he has been injured for a while, and then unfortunately he had this other one, so
No,
he had
it's
to actually
true.
cancel a fight.
Absolutely.
So
I mean,
it sort of makes sense in a way.
yeah.
At least this time there's like some, it has been a little while and he's been injured, so it kind of makes sense. It does suck, but he would still be the champ. There would be an interim champ.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just looking at my hair. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
But no, that is true. There would still be an interim champion. At least at that point, it's about to be a year. So if he can't fight up until, what you said, June?
Yeah.
They probably should do it. I mean, I'm sure they're waiting for that. Like, it's February, so right now they're probably going to give him at least 3 or 4 months. They'll see how he is doing in May. I think they still need something for the May card, which is 237.
It was crazy when like.
Oh, no, they have a Rose versus Andrade
Andrade?
for 237, if I'm not mistaken, or 236. Forget.
Let's see where the.
230.
They don't even have that far out. Yeah.
So many cards right now.
147, 235.
235 is Jones
have,
and
I mean, I'm sure they
Woodley
have
defending their titles.
What do you call it? What was I gonna say?
What were you gonna say?
No, I don't know. Torch passed.
Actually, yeah. Speaking of middleweights and number one contenders and interims and blah, 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 blah.
We did have a fight for.
We did have a main event card. The first pay-per-view without a title fight since McGregor Nate 2, I believe. Which is like UFC, 198 or like UFC, 20 something. But yeah, the first time that's happened with Anderson Silva going against Israel Adesanya.
Wait, say again? What happened?
Huh?
What were you saying?
It was the first pay-per-view card without a title on the line since Nate versus McGregor 2.
You know what's also crazy? I think with this happening, this became a record-setting number for Anderson Silva. 20 headline, 20 pay-per-view or separate pay-per-view headlines.
Nice.
Or UFC event headlining 20 UFC events.
Crazy.
Record set.
I don't know a lot of people have that. That's nuts. Jesus. Hats off to Anderson Silva on that. But yesterday, if you love Mortal Kombat, if you love the fine art of stand-ups and not crazy spinning shit, but definitely like accurate striking and things landing and going back and forth, it was an entertaining fight. It was. Yeah. I think it was an entertaining fight. I liked it a lot. The fight definitely could have gone that way. A decision towards Adesanya. He was doing a lot more movement. He was on the offensive a lot more. Anderson definitely landed a couple of strikes, but he was taking a lot of the shots, kind of lapping them off to. I don't know if it was to put on a show or just because he's like Anderson Silva and he was. That's Silva.
He did look like little vintage Anderson Silva. There, saw him.
Absolutely.
Ducking out of the way of some shots and fucking like put his back against the fence and just sitting there and like kind of toying with him a little bit.
There was a lot of back and forth between him and Adesanya. Yeah, there was a lot of trolling going on in there.
I saw one kick. I think Adesanya threw a leg kick, and then Silva kind of like went down like this.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that was actually real. I thought maybe he was like baiting him in, like he was.
He was baiting him in. No, absolutely, he was.
That looked like a little exaggerated.
It definitely. It definitely
landed, but
it definitely hurt. But he definitely exaggerated it. He was kind of going for like a Weidman thing. Remember when Weidman landed that first punch before he knocked him out? He was like trying to do the same thing. Silva fights the way Silva does. He doesn't have anything to prove.
I don't think Adesanya threw enough leg kicks though.
Huh?
I don't think he threw enough leg kicks.
He was going for that knockout
because Anderson was not checking him and he was just giving him his leg. He could have chopped him down.
Well, he checked one. Remember, he checked one, but he checked it in a very different way because he kind of like.
Oh, the one where he like stuck his leg out.
He stuck his leg out.
Gave him his thigh, but that's not a good idea.
I mean, that was the thing though. Like at that point, when someone like Silva does that, you're probably thinking like, all right, he knows that he's like, I'm throwing these short, like these low kicks. He might try to grab it, bam, bam, fucking. Oh man, what was the name? Damn it, Irving. What was the name of that light heavyweight? The first light heavyweight that Anderson Silva went against. He went for like a body kick. He grabbed it, and he just punched him in the face and like KO'd him. Something Irving or something like that. I can't remember his name.
Doesn't matter.
He had those weird tattoos. But anyway, he could have pulled one of those, grabbed his leg, bam, could have gone for a straight jab from Anderson Silva, but it feels like a fucking blade hitting you in the face, I could bet. And he felt that power in the first round. He felt like two of his punches back to back, and then Adesanya backed off. Got the respect that he did for Anderson Silva for his striking, but he did not let up. He was still going in for the shots.
Yeah.
A lot of dodging, a lot of all that shit.
A little too much respect on his side.
I don't know.
There was no combo. People weren't throwing combos. They were just kind of going in and just landing one shot and then backing off.
I mean, it's also their fighting style because once you go in and you land that one shot, you kind of got to land that one shot to topple the other guy and then like go in and follow
you gotta
up.
String them together. Try it. Anderson was especially at the very beginning, he was super just still and just waiting.
Here's also another thing. I mean, remember when Adesanya went against Brunson? He was landing those shots on Brunson, but he was still composed. He was still taking his time. He didn't rush in and start beating down Brunson.
That's not how he...
When he definitely could have, because Brunson does not have the counter punching and like the technique that Anderson Silva does. Adesanya could have went in there and totally finished that fight a lot sooner than he did, but he chose to stay calm. He chose because that's how he fights the game. That's how they both fought the game, which is they weren't going to stop that either yesterday. Like I said, they were going to fight at their top level. If he would have gotten silly and just ran in there, I mean, Silva did that. Silva ran in a lot on him and tried to land these shots while like Adesanya backed up. Even that in itself, I felt like was a little bit, like Adesanya could have just turned around and caught him with something going backwards. And then that would have been it for Anderson.
He was so careful. I think Adesanya was a little too careful. But it's the thing with when you're fighting Anderson Silva, it happens. A lot of people show him the respect. It happened with Brunson. Brunson like didn't have any offense really in that fight. That was a crazy boring fight. That fight,
yeah,
because he's just like so respectful of Silva. You don't want to get caught. You just don't. I don't know if it's like you're starstruck, or
but I mean, if
you're worried about. You don't want to be a highlight reel.
Funny enough, if last night proved anything, it's the fact that even if Anderson is maybe a little bit slower, just a little bit slower than when he was youthful and a little bit less offensive, he's still got that counter shit. He's still got those counter strikes, and he can still counter. He still could counter like the best of them. Absolutely,
still moving. He's ducking out of
I mean, that's always
punches
been
and kicks.
That's always been his bread and butter. The counter.
It's so funny when he throws his hands up.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a way to psych the person out. It's always like, man.
But he looked a little more confident after that first round, especially. He looked a lot more confident. He looked a little. I think honestly, I don't know if it's as much. I mean, maybe now, but. I don't know if like a couple years ago when we saw Anderson starting to kind of slow down, and I don't know if how much of that was necessarily age versus just like a lack of confidence, and like because I feel like a lot of times in any kind of sport or anything, when you're loose and you're confident, you'll perform a lot better just because you're not really thinking about it.
Right.
You're just like focused on doing this. And your mind's telling you, I'm gonna land this shot. I'm gonna do this.
Well, I mean, he's definitely still one of the GOATs, but I mean, I feel like that mystique about him, like during, let's say, him front kicking Vitor in the face era, like I feel like that mystique has gotten away a little bit because he has lost.
Well, there's the thing. He had the two
he's been knocked out. Yeah.
After the two Weidman fights, I feel like
he lost to
was
Bisping.
Like, I'm not invincible anymore.
He's not.
And then he fucking had his leg broken.
And then he lost to Bisping by decision because Bisping got more shots in on him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like after those two Weidman fights, he was just a different fighter.
I mean,
he wasn't the same anymore.
I mean, the other fighters were different as well because they had realized, oh, here's that extra hook.
But it was just like the way he moves, but it was.
He is 43. I was saying,
like vintage a little bit. Yesterday it was like he was moving a little bit. He looked like he was kind of like, he was loose. He was
also in there with somebody with a very similar style, and I feel like when you're in there with somebody who's like kind of has a similar style to you. Maybe it's a little bit easier for you because
you gotta be part of the dance. He's in
exactly, there. Yeah. It's like, and you have like a partner who kind of
moving. Now you're moving.
Yeah, this and that. Right. Like if he's fighting against a wrestler, he obviously has to worry about the takedown. If he's going against like somebody who's better than jiu-jitsu with him, he has to worry if if he knocks this person down, he can't exactly go down to the mat with them. He has to, like I said, his bread and his butter was his striking, his counters, and that's the same thing with Adesanya. So I feel like that's why they stayed on there. He was a little bit more comfortable with that style of fighting. That's why he was looser, which. I love that about them. That was great. We were still able to see, like you said, some of the Anderson of old, and it made for a very entertaining fight. For a 3-round main event, I went to decision where neither one of them got knocked down, and where, like you said, it was a lot of counters. Nobody really got the upper hand on anybody too much. It was still a very entertaining, very technical fight, and very emotional too. Very
were. Anderson was like crying in the presser before that, and then even Adesanya was starting to like.
Dude, he fought his hero, bro. He fought his hero and he beat his hero decisively.
No, I'm saying before that in the pre.
Oh yeah, right. At the weigh-ins, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy because I feel like it's almost like Silva knew that like if I lose to somebody, if I get knocked out by somebody, it couldn't be this guy. Because he has my similar style.
Passing the torch.
And yeah, exactly. He felt like that. And like he felt like this might be me passing the torch, which I mean, they still kind of say he did. Not in the fashion that, the MMA gods usually allow. It was very unforgiving. I could have.
It would have been awful to see, and it would have been awful, but also amazing at the same time to see Anderson get his head knocked off. That would have been crazy.
Wouldn't have been you, because I mean, MMA gods, they do as they do. They don't care about you. They don't care about it doesn't care about its heroes. Doesn't care about your lineage. When you're not in the game anymore and somebody is game, that person will beat you. And just last night, I mean, all those head kicks and all those like particular shots that could have knocked him out, he was still avoiding them. He was still able to stay away from them. He still had some life there. I mean, maybe that's what totally changed his mind. He's like, maybe I can fight again. Maybe I can fight in Brazil. That's why I think he wants to fight in a Curitiba card now.
Well, I feel like that's gonna be his final fight. I think that's kind of obvious. It's his hometown.
If he wins there,
I think win or loss. I think win or lose, he's gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, we already. Yeah, I guess like I think depending on how he would have lost this fight, because before I was like, if he loses the Australia fight, he's not gonna fight anymore. But because of his showing last night, I think maybe he changed up. He himself probably changed his mind. I still got a little more juice.
Like, I don't know enough
Absolutely.
For one more in my hometown.
Yeah, hey, I would love to see that. I mean, to see somebody
if
go out.
they did do Nick Diaz, I don't think he'll come back.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I want to see Nick come back. I don't want to see him come back against Anderson.
If anything, for that money though.
Unless if they have like the same kind of first fight that they did. I mean, it was kind of entertaining too.
It was entertaining, but it wasn't like a good fight.
It wasn't like an amazing fight. Yeah. If anything,
Adesanya
and his fight,
so maybe Nick will be like, oh, I want a rematch.
In terms of fighting and in terms of like just like stand up and stuff like that, Adesanya and Silva's fight last night was way better than Silva versus Diaz.
Yeah.
Way better. But yeah, man, Adesanya won the fight, got more of the strikes, landed a lot more of that. And yeah, after the fight, when they announced the decision, they both bowed to each other. It was like a great moment. And even Adesanya was just like down there for a little bit, had himself a bit of a tear or two because he literally beat his hero. And regardless of what they said to each other, it's almost like I said, like Silva knew, like this could be the next guy to like do what I did in this division. And if you got somebody who's that similar to Anderson Silva and can do the things that he did, I mean, that's got to be some sort of championship contendership.
I mean, he's good, but he's not Anderson Silva. Because even on his way up, Anderson was knocking everybody out. He didn't have decisions.
Well, I mean, that was another thing. Yeah, I mean, I think Israel, he still doesn't have.
He doesn't have the. I don't know if he has the knockout power necessarily. Mm-mm. Yeah.
I guess not. Yeah, I mean, he does hit people in the chin.
He can.
When he caught Bronson, he like wobbled him up, but yeah, like he doesn't really. Yeah, not really.
It was like a weird thing with Anderson. Anderson would just touch you, and somehow you'd magically fucking fall to the floor.
Oh my god, 3 men. It doesn't even look like you hit you
that hard.
Time. Yeah,
it's just so accurate. Press the button all the time.
He made people, of all people, he made Forrest Griffin quit because he kept landing clean shots on Forrest Griffin's face. He's like, no, this hurts too much. My jaw is broken. Get me out of here.
Yeah, but he would also hit people on like weird times. Like Forrest Griffin's like coming after you, and you're running backwards, and you fucking just hit him on the chin.
Straight jab.
No one's expecting like to be running after you and then getting backwards, getting popped in the chin
with the same.
So you're not ready. Your body's not ready for it either.
With the same amount of powers going forward. I mean, maybe his game could be a little different. Maybe his game, if anything, could just be the volume game. He'll land a bunch of shots on somebody, move out of the way, land a bunch of shots.
In his other fights, he's landed a lot of combos. Very good at combos.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, maybe that could be...
He even landed a couple against Anderson.
Maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference with him and Anderson. Like, maybe he lands a lot more combinations. Anderson was more like snipe to kill with one shot. Maybe he's trying to be an AK. Just land a bunch of shots.
Good feints. I like his feints.
Yes.
He's very good at feints.
Yes, absolutely.
I saw him against Anderson. I've never even thought about that before. He threw a fake flying knee and then hit him with the right hand. I was like, oh, who fakes a knee?
Yeah, man. Damn. Fake the fucking knee and get him with the that's nuts. Yeah. Well, I think I said this to you before. I think all depending on how Adesanya does in his next fight, time will tell how much better he got in this fight. And if Anderson Silva was right about, let's say, passing the torch to him, like, time will tell, and we'll see what happens in this next fight. If, like, Adesanya is, like, eons better in this next fight, or if he actually knocks out his opponent in the next fight, then it's like, whoa. Like, maybe something has changed. Maybe this, like, lit a spark in him, and maybe now, because he beat the greatest of all time, or, like, his hero and stuff like that, that's just that little bit of angst that gives him, like, not to say he wasn't confident before. Now he's like, I could be a fucking dominant champion. I could fuck these motherfuckers up. Like, I beat Anderson Silva by decision. Why not beat all these other guys? Why not be able to do all that stuff? We'll see how it goes. Like I said, we'll see how Adesanya does in this next fight. And, yeah, man, can't wait to see Anderson Silva fight again. I feel like, we'll see him fight once more, maybe 2 more times, depending on how he does in his next couple fights. But, yeah, here's Roland Adesanya. And, after the fight, talking that shit to Kevin Gastelum, saying, Whitaker, hope you get better. Kelvin, take off that fucking belt. Take off that toy belt. And he himself was saying, like, I'm the #1 contender. Like, I'm going to be fighting for the belt and blah, blah, this time the third. So, Good night for Israel.
Yeah,
Definitely
he's
good
up
night for
to
him.
16-0
Definitely,
now.
it was almost like a dream come true for him, if you will.
Yeah, obviously that wasn't a stacked card, and it's very unfortunate the main event dropped out because it was. I don't want to. It was kind of like a 2-fight card. There weren't many other fights that.
There were some.
None
There were
really
some
had
names.
any kind of implications or anything.
There were some, yeah, that's true. There were some names that were like,
okay
if anything, I mean, obviously all fights have like a personal fighter's like his own implications there. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like, it's not gonna shake up the rankings or change anything. Yeah.
Montana De La Rosa, like, she had a pretty good win against Nadia Kassim.
Were good.
Yeah,
I mean, they're like,
she has the most finishes now in women's flyweight women's flyweight division. She has 4 finishes. I don't think any other flyweight has like the most as many finishes as she does. She got a submission in the second round.
Her name is Montana. But
she got a submission in the second round. She like took down Nadia Kassim Kassem, I guess, at will and subbed her in the second round. I want to see someone like that.
That was a crazy knockout, Jim Crute and Sam Alvey.
Yeah, that was a little too soon. I think it was a little too soon.
What do you mean? I thought it was too late.
What, the knockout?
The finish. I mean the stoppage.
Are you kidding me?
He knocked him out, and then like Sam Alvey's like on the floor with his head on the floor like this.
Then he got back up though. He got back up.
But Jim Crute like backed off because he was like, all right, this guy's out. And
I don't know.
And then Sam Alvey got up and was like all wobbled, and then he just finished him.
Imagine if they would have stopped Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar, number 2, after Frankie Edgar got knocked down 3 times.
Sam Alvey was freaking. Like,
imagine if they stopped Chet Congo versus Pat Berry when Chet Congo got knocked down twice and like went limp twice.
No, that was. I'm saying the amount of he was out. He
was
like,
man.
It looked like he was searching for bed bugs in the fucking on the canvas.
Well, if you take a look at the other camera angle though, Jim Crute wasn't landing those shots. He was hitting his arm. Like Sam Alvey was covering himself up the right side, and he was literally punching his like bicep and punching his shoulder. If you take a look at how he was punching him on the takedown, like maybe one of the shots landed on Sam Alvey's head but didn't even phase him, and then Sam Alvey blocked like 6 or 7 shots with his arm, and you can literally see Alvey starting to stand up right when the ref called it, right when Mark Goddard called it. And usually I don't shit on Mark Goddard. Usually I don't shit on Goddard because I think he's like maybe the 2nd or 3rd best referee next to John McCarthy. But that probably was a bad call. I mean, he let it go the first time when he let Sam Alvey up. That was good, and that was like, okay, he let that happen. Sam Alvey got his wits about him. But then, I don't know, he just seemed to stop it when he was punching him in the shoulder. He was blocking them. I don't know, I had never seen Sam Alvey that pissed off. I'd never seen him that upset, which was also scary. See Sam Alvey, smiling Sam Alvey so upset. It makes it for a very interesting, it's just very interesting.
Suck a fuck.
He hates ads. But yeah, Sam Alvey.
It's gonna be some fucking dick pill or something. That's why. Anyway.
Is it one of those dick pills where they like show the penis grow, or is it one of those like dick pill ads where they show a hot woman?
What the fuck do I know about this?
Maybe we should check that out real quick.
Where is it?
It's right around there.
Oh,
yeah, here. Yeah. Well, no. If you go forward, they show the camera angle that I'm talking about. Go a little forward.
Boy, let's see.
That's when it ended. Like, fuck you, Goddard. This was the first one, I believe. Boom, yeah, that was the first one.
Dude, look at him.
But no,
look at him.
Shook it off.
He's looking up the ground.
He literally shook it off. He's backing up.
But dude, he was out, dude. He was out.
He was able to grab that leg. He was able to take him down there. Unfortunately, he got the top position.
Yeah, because he's in fucking auto.
He's getting up right now.
Pilot, dude.
He's getting up right now.
No,
like,
he's not.
All these shots are landing. All those shots landed on his arm.
He's not intelligently defending himself. He's just putting his arm here. Because
he's blocking. He's blocking and he's trying to get up though.
No.
Let's move forward to like the replay. When they do the replay, you're gonna see that like he was hitting his shoulder. He was getting his wits about him, and it was always like some. If that would have been a championship fight, I feel like that was another Cejudo Dillashaw. If it would have been a championship fight. It's dude. Jim
Crute was off of him, and Sam Alvey still had his head on the ground, looking down at the floor. He was out,
but he came
just because he recovered. But he was out. He
stood up though. He was able to recover.
I know, but
Goddard let it go.
Out.
If referees stopped the fights, when you say to stop the fights, we never would have gotten great fights like Hendo versus Shogun.
Yeah, but he was clearly knocked
We never
out.
would have gotten Korean Zombie versus Cub Swanson. No, not Korean Zombie. What is
this?
Korean Superboy versus Cub Swanson.
Yeah, whatever happened to that guy? He never came back. Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think your website isn't helping out enough right now. Someone just took it down.
Yeah, right? Come on, man. We're just trying to watch the freaking thing here.
Well, during the replays, he was hitting.
Dana White rips Mark Goddard to stoppage. Dude, I think he was fucking out. Oh, here it is.
If he would have stopped it.
Oh, fuck you! Go fuck yourself, UFC.
You get so
dick.
mad.
Fucking losers. We fucking already saw the fight. We just want to see.
If they would have stopped the fight right when Jim Crute knocked him down the first time, and like you said, his head was down and he was still looking at the ground. Had Mark Goddard stopped the fight then, I would have agreed, and I would have been like, all right, that's okay. But he came back. He came back, he got up, and after that, the referee would have had to take notion of that, like, oh, I kind of missed my chance. Because it does happen sometimes. The ref sometimes does miss their chance to stop the fight, especially when the fighter comes to. And it just, I don't know, I just feel like could have gone a little bit more. Could have gone a little further. There we go. Damn.
Oh my god, this is so bad.
It's fine. It's like, yeah, it's like watching somebody's stories. Oh, there's still a good minute for the fight. Hold on, go down. I think it's like still 2 minutes.
Oh boy, here we go.
Go to like the replays. But you can't see what I'm pointing at. But yeah, I mean, Sam Alvey was really upset during fight week. Him and Jim Crute were exchanging pleasantries. No, go forward to the.
Boom! Look at that. Oh, look at it. He's not even touching him. He's fucking falling all over the
He
floor,
got back up.
dude.
He literally just got back up.
I know, but he
Mark
was
Goddard's
out.
like, shit, I lost my chance. Oh, look, grabbed the leg right here. Was able to take him down.
Yeah, but he's
Sam Alvey still wobbled. He's still wobbled.
Mark Goddard right now is here. Defend yourself. Defend yourself. Defend yourself.
He's blocking right there with his shoulder. He was blocking right there with his shoulder.
No.
Go forward to the replay.
Blocking with his shoulder.
When they give the decision. No.
Look at this.
Go to the other camera angle.
Look. There he's covering up, but then now he's not even covering himself.
Go to the replay. Go to the
He's not
replay.
intelligently
When they're talking to him
defending
during the
himself,
replays, you'll see what happens. Right around there, actually. Yeah, right around there. Like,
boom. He
knock
was
him down.
out cold.
He was
right
out there. Had Mark Goddard called the fight there, I would have been like, all right, that was good. Like right here, the second time we fell down and kept looking at the ground. All right, I'm all for that stoppage because it was definitely like, nope, you were out right there. Mark Goddard should have called that,
like,
but he was able to collect himself. He kind of collected himself, got up, and Sam Alvey is also a counterpuncher. Look, 1, 2, then here, 1, 2.
Yeah, there.
1,
head.
2, 3,
head.
4. That was not head. That's all forearm and shoulder he's punching.
Talking? You can't even see the last couple of punches.
Look, give it a second.
Sorry, you're gonna say that.
Watch. We'll see. Go back. I hate how stubborn you can be.
Look. Boom. Okay.
That's
missing.
1.
Boom. Arm. Miss. Boom. Now you can't see, but it looks like he's hitting him on the side.
He's hitting him on the side of his forearm.
No, by the end of the fight, he stopped. He wasn't fucking covering up.
Momento la luta. Momento de luta. I guess that's Portuguese. This must be the Portuguese broadcasting. But anyway, yeah. Unfortunate for Sam Alvey. I think it was another stoppage. Well, he thinks it was another stoppage as well. But, I mean, Jim Crute had a good showing. Jim Crute definitely landed that shot in the chin. Maybe he'll get a step up in competition next time. As will Montana and De La Rosa. Those are, I think, the two standouts on the main card.
Lost, unfortunately.
Yeah. That fight kind of got me a little meh, too. I mean, I know Ricky Simon was definitely trying to keep from getting on the ground, but I think there were shots that he was landing on Rani Yaya where he could have, like, gone after it. He was landing shots. Rani Yaya probably got knocked down, like...
He was too scared?
He got knocked down, like, maybe 4 or 5 times in the fight from, like, a single fight that Ricky Simon, like, landed on him. And he just wasn't going under, and he wasn't going in for the kill, so to speak. He was being respectful of Rani Yaya's game, which is smart.
He should be.
But I think he I don't know, I feel like he should have been a little bit more different. Should have been not sure what's over there. Should have been a little more
Ghost.
I feel like he could have gotten to finished had he tried even harder, but what are you gonna do? Great win for Ricky Simon, decision win. Lando Venata with a submission in the first round, right before the end of the 5 seconds before the end of the first round. I actually didn't catch that. I forgot what I was busy doing. I think I was just conversating or something like that.
That's good. He got him on the ground. He was doing some ground and pound, and then he was like,
what was it?
I think there was a little bit of a scramble on the ground. He ended up in like north-south. with like basically his balls in this guy's mouth, and
Ooh.
then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna grab his arm and fucking
Armbar?
Kimura.
Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, okay. That's not bad. All right, Kimura. So, yeah, Land of Anata. Usually known for his flashy striking and his kicks and stuff like that. That crazy KO he had on John McDessie. McDessie, right? Where he did that spinning kick. It kind of lifted him off of his feet. I think it was McDessie. But, yeah. Big win for Lando Venata last night.
Lando
Venata.
All right, so yeah, now next, let's see.
What happened in the prelim cards? Hold on, the
ESPN
prelims real quick. Let me take a look at the prelim. I feel like there was a fight in the prelims I liked. Or there was somebody in the prelims who was... Oh, Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, I think, has his, 4th KO in the UFC.
Yeah,
so definitely going to see what he does later on. He was very charismatic during his post-fight interview. Nothing, calling people out or anything like that, but just really happy about his win. And, yeah, I think I think there's a couple of people who won last night that'll definitely got to step up in competition next. So, like to see that. Shouts to all the people who won last night in the UFC 234. Unfortunately, they lost the main card, but still good fights. Still good, entertaining crowd.
I think it was
Ishihara
and they had a
Ishihara versus Kyung Ho. Yeah, they had a crazy scrap there, but then
first round.
He was able to get him in a rear naked. He got him with a rear naked, and 4 minutes into the first round. That was a good way to start the preliminary cards on ESPN. People definitely got excited there. Yeah, man, they were swinging for the fences for a quick minute. Hey, man. But what was I gonna say about that? Damn it. Oh yeah. Real quick, the Australian crowd. I like the Australian crowd. I like the fights in Australia now. It's weird because I think my wife mentioned it yesterday. It's almost like they kind of Marcella actually mentioned it yesterday. It was like it's almost like they watch it like a tennis match. Like they stay kind of silent. You still hear people talking in the crowd, but you don't hear people going nuts and crazy all the time like you would in, let's say, MSG or like Vegas or in Brooklyn or like anywhere here. They stay kind of subtle and like very not a lot of talking during the fights. And whenever something happens, whenever somebody like surely gets a point, whether it's from a takedown or they just get the upper hand in positioning or they're able to switch it up, it's a very educated crowd and they always know exactly and they love the fights. You could definitely tell they love the fights. And yeah, I like it when they go to Australia. It used to be like, Australia, just another place, but I like it a lot. I'd like to see a lot more fights happen in Australia. The fans down there definitely put it down.
It's just they don't go there very often just because of the time difference.
Yeah, right. It's a big deal. I mean, when we have the fights here, it's Saturday night. It's technically Sunday morning for them, or like Sunday noon-ish time for them.
That's why they like Brazil so much, because Brazil is not really time.
Yeah. I'm sure it fucks with the fighters as well. I mean, it definitely messes with them a lot and stuff like that. But yeah, also yesterday we saw in the crowd, what was it? A face-off between Cejudo and Benavidez. We also saw Cerrone do a shoey with Tai Tuivasa. That was funny. I wouldn't do that. It's just really fucking gross.
He did it out of his boot.
Yeah, his own. Yeah,
it was a booty.
That's it. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it was a booty. But but yeah, I wouldn't do that because you walk around in your shoes all day and you sweat.
Kind of gross. Yeah,
it's kind of gross. But hey, man, to each his own. Donald Cerrone can do as he likes.
Hey, walk around in those boots afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that right? If you're doing a shoe, what do you do afterwards?
Essentially, yeah. He was still walking.
In the beer-soaked shoe, right?
Essentially, I mean, you better make sure you get all that beer out. So you're just gonna walk around with wet. Nobody wants wet socks. That's a weird feeling. Nobody ever likes.
See, I'd rather do a shoe than a sneaker, because a sneaker, the sole's kind of there's a lot more. In general, there's a lot of material. It just soaks it up.
That soaks everything.
So if it was like a dress shoe or something, then at least it's maybe leather and it'll kind of beat off a little bit. It won't be too bad.
Absolutely, but yeah, I don't know. Just
yeah.
I wouldn't recommend anyone do it.
Regardless, probably.
Oh yeah, and also in the crowd,
sanitary.
Matt Damon and Thor was in the crowd also.
Yeah,
that was cool. Love that for all you Marvel fans. And real quick before we jump into the next week's card, some news for the week. Since we're on the subject of Cerrone, he was real pissed off at Ariel Helwani apparently because Ariel Helwani's mentioned that his call out to Conor McGregor was a little bit weak. We had this conversation while we were in the car. I kind of agree. I wouldn't call it weak, but at the same time, like I said, I don't think Cerrone, he's the most winningest fighter in the UFC. He's one of the, regardless of him winning a belt or not, he's pretty legendary right now because he takes fights all the time. He's a crowd favorite.
He doesn't need to please you, Ariel. He doesn't need to impress you.
But he needs to please Conor McGregor, apparently.
Oh.
He needs to please Conor McGregor. That comment he made. He's like, "This is Conor McGregor's world, and we all live in it." No, it's not. If anything, it's Khabib's world, because Khabib owns the title and Khabib owned that ass. So I don't know what he meant by that. I'm sure he's like trying to get the money fight and this and that, but I feel like a fighter of his caliber, a fighter of his tenure, could have gone about it a different way. Not saying he like throw around insults and like, you know, call Conor a bitch or anything like that, but he was almost like he was asking Conor, "Hey, please, could we have a fight? Like, cause you know, I think it'll be really cool." He's like, "Nah, man, say some shit. Like, yeah, man, I fight anybody any fucking time. I want a fucking money fight. Conor, I bet I can beat you. I bet we could fucking dance, and I bet it'll be fucking entertaining. Not some, like, this is Conor's world and we live in it. Like, what is that? Like, I don't know. I didn't like that. Just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I can see why Ariel called it weak. I don't want to call it weak, because, like I said, I don't want to call anything Cerrone ever does weak, but I just... Like, I don't know.
Mean, I guess it's weird to hear from a fighter, but
especially a fighter like him.
World, it is like Conor calls a lot of the shots, man. As far as his fights, he's gonna say when and who he's fighting and whatever.
I understand that entirely, but I feel like a fighter like Cerrone, a fighter who takes fights all the time, who everyone knows, even though he doesn't have a belt, he's a household name. It seems like in the MMA world. I just feel like he could have done a lot more than just been like, you know, "Hey man, let's have a fight, you know? Why not? I think it'll be cool. I think people will like it." I mean, to Conor's credit, when he responded, it was very respectful.
Say it like that.
To Conor's credit, when he responded, it was very respectful. He was very respectful, and he very much said, like, you know, "I'll bring the whiskey, you bring the beer." So it was a nice, friendly back and forth. That was cool. But I don't know.
Look at this. How about this? Cowboy says he'll KO McGregor in the second round.
There you go. I like that.
Is that better?
There you go. That is better. That is better. I like that. Because it's why not? Why he needs to have that confidence in himself. When he's confident in himself like that is when he gets the most wins. When he is confident in his abilities, which he should be, because it's Donald Cowboy fucking Cerrone. I feel like he's one of those fighters that can beat, that possibly could be Conor if he stuck to his game. Conor isn't unbeatable. A lot of people seem to think Conor's unbeatable. It's all about the mind games with Conor. When, like, Conor plays those mind games on you, Donald Cerrone is like, and unfortunately, I feel like, unfortunately, like Cowboy Cerrone, it's happened to him before when, like, he's there for the title fight, when he's there on the big stage, he's kind of folded up, which sucks. I mean, we saw that when he went against Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was shitting on him the whole time, freaking knocked his cowboy hat off of his head when they did the presser, and just Nate Diaz just totally got him. That I don't know if that was a mental thing, and I don't know if Cerrone was just feeling like down on himself for whatever reason, or just maybe he wasn't having a good camp. But I don't think Cerrone showed up then. When Donald Cerrone shows up, he can be one of the best fighters and championship caliber fighter. But he needs to be that. He needs to believe that, and he needs to like believe in his goddamn skills.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to talk shit to do it.
I'm not saying he needs to talk shit. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he needs to be a little bit more confident and recognize who he is. Cowboy fucking Cerrone.
I think he knows. I think people are just kind of taking it a little too serious.
Another thing. Speaking of people sounding like bitches, no offense, Cerrone. Kobe Covington got a little bit upset this week. Said he was probably never going to fight in the UFC again.
Yeah.
Wah.
Listen, man. Man, shit happens.
How does that privilege feel? Oh, right in the privilege, huh, Kobe?
Let's fight somebody.
Right in the privilege must hurt. Oh,
let's fucking fight somebody.
I can't feel terrible for him because he wore a MAGA hat, so it's kind of like,
you know. Did they tell him? Did they tell him? You can't get the next fight. I wonder if like. I don't. How many? There isn't like a super long line right now at 170.
It's literally the fact that he was stripped of his belt. It's stripped of his interim belt. It's kind of like you're kind of like a substitute teacher at this point. So like, that title could get taken away. Absolutely. I mean, like,
you want to be the real champ, right? So just wait.
Fight the real, yeah. And like,
look, who's, who you got? I mean, I guess the only person like he could be freaking like worried about is maybe if like Ben Askren. No, but even then, because Ben Askren is not going to fight Woodley, so I don't think he's. I don't think they're going to fight. So I don't think he has to be worried about that anyway.
Absolutely.
But Kamaru Usman and freaking.
I mean, at this point, he's not helping himself.
And
either.
Woodley is like in a month from now.
Yes.
Or so?
Yes, next month.
So just fucking wait a couple months, and then you can get the winner of that fight. Like who? Who cares?
Hurts. It hurts right in the privilege. That's why. That's why. That's. I feel like that's what it is. I mean, yeah, he was. Here's the thing. He had his 15 minutes of fame, and he didn't capitalize on it. He really did not. He should have just kept taking fights. If you think you're the best and you're the champ, then it doesn't matter if you fight
something
Kamaru.
like he was supposed. They wanted him to fight a certain time, and then he couldn't because he had like.
That was in November though. That was in November.
Yeah, and then
but then in January when he was better, he wanted to fight Woodley, and Woodley wasn't ready until March.
And then
they told him, all right, fight Kamaru, and then whoever wins that will fight Woodley in March. And he said no. He was like, no, I don't want to fight him because like I want to fight for the belt and blah blah this and the third. And it's like, dude, you're still the interim champ. It's not until you have that belt and until you're calling and until you've reached a certain point of like, oh, this guy might be dominant, like Woodley did recently when he went against Darren Till. It's not up until you get to a certain point where you could call your shots. He thought because he had the interim title and because he had a bunch of these MAGA supporters behind him, and because he went to visit old Donald in the fucking White House, that he thought he had all of this fucking like, yeah, I got all of this leverage now. I can call it. No, man, no, because there's still literally Kamaru and Woodley could be better than him. He could be better than Kamaru and Woodley because we haven't seen them fight. But they're all three of them right now. You're not really sure who's better amongst the three.
People like to wait. They want to wait. They feel like they've gotten to that point.
This is a fight game, bro.
They're not going to fucking. They're not gonna fuck it up. They're gonna wait. They're gonna get that title shot because when I get that, then that's one fight that they need to become champion. That puts them, like, in the record books as a champion, solidifies a legacy for them or whatever. Earns them more money by being champion.
If I could roll my eyes further to the back of my head, I would.
They're not thinking about the fight. The next fight after that or the fight. They don't. A lot of people don't care about, like being the greatest champion of all time as opposed to just becoming a champion.
Well, I mean that's the thing. The UFC is always looking for dominant champs. The UFC is always looking for the next John Jones, the next Anderson Silva, the next Ronda Rousey, GSP. They're always looking for that, and they always want people to want that. If you're just looking to, hey, I want to get my belt so I could defend it once, get that championship money, and then if I lose, whatever, you're not the best in the world.
Because now I'm the ex-champ because at least I was a champ.
That's not, fuck you. That's not the best in the world mentality. If you want to be the champion, that's because you think you're the best in the world. And if you think you're the best in the world, it's because you think you can beat everybody.
Doesn't matter if you have the belt or not.
Regardless of what he says, if he's like, oh, I don't want to fight Tyron Woodley because I don't want to fight Kamaru because he's not the champ. To everybody, it just sounds like you don't want to fight Kamaru because you know that's a dangerous fight for you.
Well, guess what? Because if you say you beat Woodley, guess who's the first person you're going to fight anyway? It's going to be Kamaru.
There you go. So but I mean, hey, like I don't get to defend. Like at least I got the belt. It's like at least I get that former champ title right there. That's what people want now, and it kind of sucks because now it's. And we've seen it before where people win the belt and then they want a money fight. They want a super fight like immediately. We saw that happen with Cejudo and Dillashaw. Lucky for Cejudo, it paid off for him even though it was a controversial win. And lucky for Amanda Nunes as well, it paid off for her. To be fair, Amanda Nunes did beat Ronda Rousey and she did beat Miesha Tate.
She had a couple of defenses already.
Exactly, yeah. She did, and she did beat Raquel Pennington. And in terms of the talent pool in bantamweight, I guess she did have a right to challenge
Miesha for the belt.
That's true, yeah. She did have a right to challenge for that super fight thing. But then there's some people,
and I mean, she's beaten three of the most, three almost kind of legends, three of the biggest female fighters of ever.
Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey, Cyborg, absolutely. Now it's like I said, it worked out for her because she is that damn good. We don't know that Kobe's that good. We don't know that
he is.
To be honest with you, I
feel like him and RDA, that wasn't really that great of a fight. And if RDA was more prepared for that kind of fight, if Kobe didn't fight that kind of fight, which was just grinding, hold you up against the fence,
I can definitely see Kobe winning. Let's say if he were win the belt and then he were to lose it almost immediately, I could see him riding that former championship fucking label for the longest time for whatever his future endeavors is. And that's also another thing. He mentioned that a lot. He's like, I don't need to fight anymore. I made enough money and invested into enough things so that I won't need to fight anymore about this and that. If you're a real fucking fighter, you want to prove you're the best in the world. If you're a real fucking fighter, you want to beat the best so that you can be the best. That's what Ben Askren is doing. Ben Askren wants to fight Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler is not a great fight for him, but he's like, fuck it. If this is who I need to beat to say that I'm the best in the world, let me fucking fight him. He's trying to handpick his fights right now. Like, fuck you. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, You're not even a real fucking fighter,
Well,
bro.
like
You're not
Conor,
even real
like,
championship material.
Conor's got millions and millions and millions in the bank. He's got other companies. He's doing a whole bunch of shit. But he still wants to get in there and fight.
He still wants to get in there and fight.
Although obviously he's a little picky and careful with who he fights, but he's never I don't think it's crossed his mind to be like, oh, I'm just never gonna fight again.
Kobe Covington I feel like he lost his 15 minutes of fame, jumped the gun trying to fucking pick his little spots, and now I wouldn't be surprised if if Ben Askren beats Robbie Lawler. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, no, you got to fight Askren now. And if you beat Askren, then you'll go against whoever wins Kamaru and Tyron Woodley. What's stopping the UFC from doing that? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And at that point, he'll have no one to blame but himself because of all the shit talking he did to Dana, all the shit talking he did towards the UFC. He's only digging himself into a deeper ditch. And I'm not saying kiss ass, but don't fucking bite the hand that feeds you. I mean,
I
they didn't even feed him that well yet.
In a way, like
knowing you're
there's no like a lot of this isn't earning, and that's why you're saying about the rankings. The rankings don't really mean shit.
Yeah.
Because they can pick who they want to fight who. Whoever.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I like those tournaments that like Bellator does, and it's like PFL, some of that.
They're so crazy
because
so
you
random.
have like, all right, you fight this person to beat this person, right? And then you fight this person. Now if you beat this person or that person, now you get a title shot. There's nothing in the air. There's no questions. There's nothing. It's just kind of like, and that's how it works in other sports. Your team plays this team, and there's a freaking, you get enough wins, you're in the playoffs. You beat these teams in the playoffs, now you're in the championship. It's like not like a.
It's also crazy because you got to keep.
Not many politics. It's just basically.
Unfortunately, there are politics in fighting because of the shit talking, because of injuries, because of things of that nature.
I guess injuries, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like that definitely plays a role in a lot of shit. But like, I don't know. I think just Kobe shouldn't have done that. I mean, he's fucking idiot. I mean, do what you will now. I mean, don't fight ever again, whatever. It's not like he'll be missed. I mean, maybe by like the MAGA supporters, but I don't think he'll be missed. It's not like he was a McGregor, where it was literally like, I want to see where this guy goes with this. He's talking all this shit like he's the man. Like, yeah, he's talking shit, but it's more like he's trolling rather than
I don't really care to watch him. I'm not gonna buy pay-per-view to.
And that was another thing. Conor McGregor's style is exciting. Conor McGregor goes in there and knocks people out. Conor McGregor goes in there and his fighting style is very exciting to watch. Kobe's kind of like no offense to Tito Ortiz, but he has that same style where he grapples you down and fucking just barrages you with punches on the floor until you get tired. Kind of like Khabib, but just Khabib does it in such a much more dominant way that it just makes it fun.
No, yeah, I think if the only fight that I wanted to see Kobe in was against Tyron. And the only reason I want to see that because I want to see Tyron.
Well, now Askren.
And that would be fun to watch.
Well, now Askren. Askren would be great to see Kobe fight Ben Askren.
It'd be a wrestle fest, yeah.
I want to see what happens with him and Robbie Lawler, man. I can see that going to decision, but if it does, I can definitely see Ben Askren on top of like Robbie Lawler for like 13 minutes, which would be pretty crazy.
See how good his wrestling really is. Yeah.
Or maybe he can like even get him in a submission. I don't know, but it'll be very interesting. Once again, another division that seems to be a little bit misconstrued. Middleweight's all weird now because of, unfortunately, the champion got like that. And welterweight is now all weird and topsy-turvy like that. Khabib is going to be probably out until November. They look like they're going to make it him against Tony. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. There were small talks of having Tony and Poirier fight for the interim title in like April or that. I'd like to see that.
I also heard of maybe Conor versus Tony, because
I heard about that too.
If what's his face, Khabib actually just sit out for like most of the year, then
imagine if like Tony and Conor happens, and then Tony beats Conor in a similar fashion that he beat that Khabib beat him. Like Tony just like kind of gets him on the ground and like he subs him.
I mean, that would earn him a then that would be like, all right, this
that
guy
would be the
shot.
definitive exclamation point that these motherfuckers should have fought. Should be fighting, and we can't make any fight until Tony and Khabib
maybe they
Tony
need that.
happens.
Maybe they need that. This is
yes,
like a test for Tony to be like, listen, I just beat Conor McGregor. I need this title shot.
That fight wasn't going to happen until one of them beat Conor. That fight wasn't supposed to happen because they needed to show the world that Conor's not the best lightweight. Either Khabib or Tony is. Look at this, bitches.
Well,
If that happens, we'll see. Like I said, we'll see what happens. Poirier's waiting though, but I mean, I don't like his chances.
Nah,
I want to see him fight for a number 1 contender shot or even the belt, but Tony's been up there for a while.
Not really in the mix
Connor's
right
been
now,
up there for a while. Khabib's been up there for a while. I don't know, and now Cerrone's in the mix. I don't know.
Maybe Poirier, Cerrone, Ferguson, Connor. No?
There is no clear-cut like competitor for like
there's so many variables.
5 divisions right now.
A lot of this depends on Khabib.
6 divisions right now. There's no clear-cut. Everything is so topsy-turvy. Flyweight division, Cejudo, you don't know who he's going to fight. Bantamweight division, you don't know if Dillashaw is going to wait for Cejudo. I think the only thing is Max Holloway right now at featherweight, but I mean, who's going to fight him right now at featherweight?
I really think it's going to be Jose Volkanovski for number 1.
Makes sense. Yep, that's probably the only one where you're like, all right, this fight makes sense because it is a top contender, and it's the champ, the new champ who's like fucking trying to lay his legacy down. But then you go into lightweight, fucking circus.
So many people.
Welterweight
so many people.
Is now a fucking circus almost a little bit. And like you got Woodley who's the champ, but you got all these people like that have his same fighting style, the wrestling, and like the not the same striking. Woodley's like striking is I think ahead of like all of theirs. But yeah, you got all these people that could out wrestle him. You got the middleweight division. That's all this shit happened in 24 fucking hours. That like the champ is like sick, and Israel Adesanya might win, and Kevin Gastelum's calling himself the champ. It's just what the hell's gonna happen there?
I don't know.
Light heavyweight. Ugh, I don't know.
A lot of questions. But we do have a heavyweight fight coming up next week, and that actually has a lot of implications.
Yes.
Ngannou and Cain Velasquez. The return of Cain Velasquez.
What? Cain Velasquez is coming back after 2.5 years. We haven't seen Cain Velasquez since UFC 200.
Yeah.
What in the fuck? I am excited. I mean, we're going to see if Cain Velasquez is still what he was before or if time has passed him. And injuries, honestly.
His back has not been very good to him.
Nah, but I mean, he took the year off. He took a year off to be with his family. He got the surgeries he needed. He essentially was on sabbatical, if you will. And, yeah, he's coming back now. I mean, Francis Ngannou is a good matchup for him.
Cain? Probably like 36 or
36.
Yeah, 36.
He's exactly 36 years old. Wow, good guess. But, yeah, I mean, right now, in the heavyweight standings, he's getting into his prime. Yeah, absolutely. He's getting into his prime right now, going against Francis Ngannou. I mean, fucking A. Should be fun. Should be a good I can't wait to see him back in the octagon. I just want to see if he's still the same as he was before.
Yeah.
I want to see if he's still able to do that stuff, to do what he did before, take down Francis Ngannou, or fuck, what if Francis fucking gets a knockout on Cain Velasquez? He would be the only man to have knocked out Cain Velasquez.
You know, I don't think...
next to Junior Dos Santos.
I don't think it's going to happen. Because I mean, it happened with Junior, but Junior, obviously, Cain was prepared for that. It was, I don't want to say it was a fluke, but he just caught him with a good shot. But
he caught him with a good shot because Cain was injured, though, then.
Yeah.
Cain's back was injured then, and I think he said it. He injured his back like a week before, but he didn't want to say anything to the UFC brass. So Cain didn't go forward. He was kind of waiting for Dos Santos to throw his shot. But because Cain is used to being in someone's face, I guess he didn't get the range too well, and that's when Dos Santos was able to land that overhand right, knock him out, and get the title.
I think we see another JDS Cain fight. Like, I mean, like in that similar fashion. I feel like he's just gonna batter up Ngannou.
Absolutely, I think so. And even I think it might be a little worse.
He'll knock him out. I think he'll knock him out. I think Cain will get won by TKO.
I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think it might be a little worse because Dos Santos' takedown defense is way better than Francis Ngannou's. I feel like Francis Ngannou's huge, but I think Cain Velasquez...
one-dimensional, I
think Cain Velasquez could definitely take him down at will. I mean, sucks, but yeah, we'll see how that goes down. I mean, if Ngannou wins and if Kamaru wins the belt, they're already talking about doing a UFC in Africa. Could be Egypt, could be Cape Town, could be somewhere. Somewhere.
They have a thing it's called EFC. I think it's South African MMA organization.
Oh yeah, EFC or something like that. Extreme Cage Fighting or some shit like that. Yeah, and it's like their small little, like where they take a look at like essentially prospects, so to speak.
Prospects down there.
It's like the LFA, I guess, for Africa, so to speak. The like Legacy Fighting Alliance or whatever it's called. But yeah, next week
we got James Vick is back after that devastating KO loss to
Justin
Gaethje. Damn.
Gaethje just totally.
I didn't expect that. I thought this was
didn't
James
expect that
Vick's
either.
fucking welcoming party. He was looking so good for a long time.
It might be the case for Paul Felder, but Paul Felder is also real dangerous because he's very technical. He knows what he's doing. He has great technique on the feet. Could be another fucking flash lockout towards James Vick. I mean, not to shit on James Vick and say that he couldn't take out Paul Felder, but we could be seeing another top prospect, decline before he ever gets to the peak, so to speak.
Yeah, well,
up until that point, James Vick
yeah.
hasn't really fought against competition like that. Justin Gaethje was his first top guy that he went against, and it's like, all right, we're gonna see what happens here, and did not go well in his favor. I mean, he's a tall guy. He's got the reach advantage, but
yeah, I mean, he's young, so let's see if maybe he
absolutely
back,
yeah, he's still young. Courtney Casey, we got going against Cynthia Calvillo.
We'll see.
That'd
be a good fight.
N-word. I love Cynthia Calvillo. I think she is a G. I like her. I think she's.
Is she the one that's friends with the Scrap
G.
Pack?
Yeah. No, she's friends with I think so. 'Cause she trains at Alpha Male. She used to train with Paige Van Zandt, but now I think
she trains with the Stockton guys.
Yeah, I think she does. She?
I thought so.
But yeah, I mean, hey, she fucking walks around like a G. She's got a hood mentality. She's got a hood demeanor about her, which I like. When she goes out there, she knows how to rock the shit. I think, funny enough, she used to be Paige Van Zandt's training partner, but I think she has more tools than Paige does, especially in the stand-up. I think her style is a lot more. I think it's a lot more grittier.
Last time, so let's
yeah.
see.
She did very much so. Yeah. She was able to get gain control over Rachel Ostovich. That was a good stoppage, a good win for Paige Van Zandt. But I don't know, man. I like Cynthia. Calvillo. I definitely see her as the top contender sometime in the future for the strawweight title.
Alex Caceres fighting Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie making his UFC debut.
Gracie, the next line of Gracies coming into the UFC. This could be very awesome. Fight. This could be a very big fight. This could be I don't know, man. This could be the next star. This could be the next star coming in. Or Alex Caceres could put on a great show, as he usually does with his technical striking.
I thought Caceres was going to be... Is it Caceres or Caceres?
Oh. Caceres. I think it's Caceres, yeah.
I thought he was going to be, kind of coming up when he had the fight with Faber. And then he kind of was like, all right, he's not ready for that.
No. Yeah. We saw that. It's almost like you can tell he's kind of not a journeyman, maybe like a gatekeeper journeyman kind of thing. He's the guy you fight right before you start fighting people in the top 10 or top 5, so to speak. Definitely see that there. Yeah. Vincenzo Luque?
Yeah. Brian Barberena.
Yeah. See, this is a good card, though. They're putting together a good...
Also, another one, Miles Jury. He had
Miles Jury versus Andre Fili. I like me some Andre Fili. Miles Jury's okay.
And he had his chance against Cerrone to kind of break into the...
Exactly, and he didn't really take it. He didn't really... I don't think he's there yet. I think he's one of those guys that trains really well and fights really well, trains really well with people in the gym, but then when the bright lights go on him, he doesn't exactly deliver as much. Maybe he's thinking a little bit too much. I don't know what it is. Whatever.
It was so funny with Cerrone was kicking his legs when he was on the
ground. Yeah, because it got just... I would have fucking done that too.
He wouldn't engage him. He wouldn't get up. And
he probably wanted to break his fucking foot off or something like that.
He was mad, yeah.
So I would have been pissed off too because he wouldn't engage me, man. Come on, dude. This is
a good fight. Jimmy Rivera, Aljamain Sterling. That's a good fight.
Ooh, that's a wrestler's paradise.
That is going to be an interesting fight.
Jersey boy versus Long Island boy. Oh, man.
I thought Rivera was also from New York, no?
I think he trains in Jersey, with Edgar.
Yeah, but I thought he was from New York.
Maybe he's from New York, but I'm pretty sure he trains with Frankie Edgar and Marlon Moraes.
He was born in Ramsey, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, from Jersey. Yeah. Moron, there you go. Right. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he trains with Moraes and Edson as well. But yeah, that's a good fight. I'd like to see that fight definitely go down. That's it. I mean, both of them lost to Marlon Moraes. They were Marlon before Rafael Sanza. They were Marlon Moraes' last part of his fight finishes.
Hanan Barao on the early prelims.
Yeah,
sucks, man.
What a fall from grace against Luke Sanders, or as I like to call him, the man's ex.
Jessica Penny, I haven't seen her in a bit.
Shout outs to my WWE fans. Huh. Luke Sanders used to date Becky Lynch.
This Luke Sanders?
Yeah, he used to date Becky Lynch, but so far we haven't seen him on their Instagram. They like to keep their private lives. Okay. I think he might have cheated on her or something like that, though. Ooh. I think he might have pulled some shit. I might be wrong. Don't take this this is just something I just collect together by looking at both of their Instagrams. But yeah, they used to date be together for a bit, and then all of a sudden Becky Lynch kind of just dropped him, and I was like, oh, why? But what happened? You guys seem so happy. But yeah, very excited for next week's card. The first card on ESPN, like actual ESPN, not ESPN Plus, and it's not a prelim. It's like a full ESPN card from prelims to the main event.
It is on Sunday. Sunday at 9:00.
Sunday. Keep that in mind. The day before you go to work. Catch Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez. We'll see how that goes. I'm excited for that fight. I'm excited to see Cain Velasquez back into the octagon to see what he's been doing. Also, real quick, I made a mention of this on the on our Instagram page just because Bellator signed a big deal with Sky Sports. They now we're going to be showing I think most of their cards this year in Ireland and in the UK on Sky Sports, which is like a major TV deal for them. Good. Nice
also, Patricky defended his title.
Nice. Patricky defended his title. Was it a decision win? Oh, no, wait.
Oh, is it right?
Oh, no, here we go. First round. Let's take a look at that. Sure. Let's hop to Bellator for a bit. Just talk about them real quick, maybe for a couple minutes. Oh, knee down the middle. Yeah, right on the chin. He knocks him down to the ground. Tries to get up over him. He's a little dazed, just blocking. Wow. Punch down the middle. Did he win it by... Oh, no. He was winner by split decision. But, yeah, that was a good knee right there. He could have, like, knocked him out or something like that. But, yeah, that fight happened last night. What I was going to mention was next... Oh, man, it's on Sunday as well. Wait, is it Sunday as well? Oh, damn. Both cards are on next Sunday. I didn't notice this. The first ESPN card is Sunday, right? Sunday at night. But also, Bellator has a card next week. And it's part of the welterweight Grand Prix that they have. Grudge match MVP? Between MVP versus Paul Daly. I've been watching their friends to foes little Instagram stories that they've had throughout the weeks where they've been doing the press conferences and stuff like that. They've been getting at each other. They've been like really. It looks like it's going to be a big grudge match.
Bad blood, man.
Two heavy strikers going at each other.
This is also. It's weird. This is Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so Friday is
they do that sometimes. Bellator will have like two cards over the
Saturday
weekend.
Saturday is MVP Daily.
No. They're Sunday.
It's also. Are you sure?
It's on Sunday. Saturday. Take a look at the next thingy. Yeah.
No,
Saturday.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, I guess this must have been. Yeah. This is for Sky Sports then. So I guess this is for like the morning of.
They're in the morning.
Yeah. 3 a.m. Yeah. So my bad on that. But yeah, Saturday. Okay, so you could catch
Sunday,
it.
You got
nice. Yeah. So action-packed weekend of MMA. Really top prospects in MMA going up against each other all weekend next week. That should be cool. Yeah, you could catch.
Mohegan Sun.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be in Connecticut. But yeah, you can catch Michael Venom Page against Paul Daly.
Fights back-to-back at Mohegan Sun.
Opening round of the welterweight world Grand Prix main event. We're gonna see what happens here. I think this is the first time that Michael Venom Page is going against like a caliber fighter, former contender, championship caliber type fighter in Paul Daly. I mean, he went against Cyborg Santos, but Cyborg Santos, was kind of on the teeter-totter, going a little bit down. It wasn't the same as he was in Strikeforce.
I think like a really big test for him.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of bad blood between these two. Should be a really fun fight. If you have the Zone and you're able to watch this next Saturday, MVP versus Paul Daly on that card. Is there any other? Maybe go down. Is there any other fights on that card that's like interesting? More info. So like what else is on there? Let's see. We got that.
Czech Congo's fighting.
Czech Congo versus Vitaly Minakov. Okay, that's good. That's a good fight.
Crow Cop Roy Nelson.
Crow Cop versus Roy Nelson. All right. So it's a good fight. It's a good fight card. Not bad.
Eric Silva.
I don't think maybe it's the same Eric Silva.
Is that the same Eric Silva? I think that's
maybe it looks like it. Yeah, it could be. Eric Silva looks like he's making his debut at Bellator as well. So yeah, not a bad card for Bellator next week. Bellator, what is it? 216. Next Saturday, if you want to watch it, and also 215. I keep forgetting about 215 because I honestly keep forgetting about it. You got
not nearly as strong as a card. You got Eduardo Dantes.
Yeah, Eduardo Dantes is on the card. That's not bad. And then after that, I don't know anybody else.
Not too many big.
Yeah, but Matt Mitrione fighting next Friday as well against Sergey Karatonov. So yeah, if you want to catch that, definitely do so. But yeah,
we're wrapping it up here.
Yeah. Next week. So yeah, don't forget to watch the first ESPN card. On the first UFC card on ESPN next week, Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez comes back after 2.5 years. MVP versus Paul Daly at Bellator. What was it? Bellator 216. 216? Yeah, 216.
Mm-hmm.
Next Saturday as well, so there's no conflict of interest there. Weekend of MMA fights if you'd like it, and yeah, I think we'll wrap it up for now. To anybody else who, what else do we have this week that happened? No, yeah, that was about it. Except for the little back and forth that Stipe had with Daniel Cormier. That Daniel Cormier owes him a title shot, and Cormier says he didn't owe him shit. The little Twitter back and forth they had there. I don't think Brock Lesnar's going to happen. So I think Cormier needs to make peace with the fact that he needs to give Stipe that rematch eventually. I don't think Lesnar's gonna happen.
We'll see. There's a lot.
We gotta wait till after WrestleMania.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of information yet.
Yeah. Then we'll see what happens after that.
We'll see these guys.
But yeah, catch UFC on ESPN. Their first card on ESPN next week. And Bellator 216 if you have the chance. Great fights on next week, and your boys will be here. Actually, we'll probably be able to preview. Are we gonna be here next Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so I'll actually be able to preview Francis Ngannou and Cain Velasquez next week a little bit more in depth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And talk about Bellator 216. So, if you want to join us next Sunday, we'll be here. Will you? We'll see.
Yes.
But until then, I am the aforementioned Eric, and my colleague next to me, Shane, Eamon as I like to call him. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the fight.